you give every single dollar in your business a purpose, every single dollar in your investments a purpose. Everything is planned and it's going somewhere. But if you're sitting around and you don't have anything to do, you can, get really scared and lost in the feeling of not being needed for something.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
My question to you, at which point in your life you realize that when you organize the business from the beginning, it has to be in a holistic way, in a 360, and take in consideration all these elements, so you look after your mental health parallel while you grow in the business? Because if you don't look after your mental health parallel if you grow in the business, you can, that emotional pain sometimes become a physical pain. People can have cancer, vomiting blood, So when do from who you learn that? Do you learn by experience? Do you have this idea? So this step number one that you share with us, how you come up with that conclusion?
Well, when I talk about planning, I talk about it across all aspects of the business. Now, I have a very close friend of mine last year who was running a multi-million-dollar marketing business here in Brisbane, Australia. Now, she was completely broken. Like, she was turning over millions, but she was absolutely, completely broken. And last September, she just decided overnight, she just closed her business. She gave all of her team 1 month's notice and she said, I'm closing. She could have sold that business.
Wow.
But she literally was so physically and emotionally exhausted and very unwell that she couldn't even bear the thought of going through that. And she just closed it overnight. So I have seen that firsthand actually happen. And talking to her every day and saying, are you okay? Like, what's happening today? Just to make sure that she was still functioning.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few things that I really consider important when it comes to not only the running of the business, but also for your own personal self, because you need to have that balance. Now, I'm not talking about, having half a day off every day. Obviously, we need to be productive, because if we aren't, the business will then suffer, right? So you need to find this medium. But what I really talk about is, I always have this thing that I kind of joke about. It's doing a favor for your future self, and I'll explain that. Every time I do something, every single day, I ask myself, how can I better my Sonya for tomorrow? How can I help her? How can I help Sonya in 3 months? How can I help Sonya in 6 months? I can do that by a couple of different ways. Whether if it's, I get up in the morning and I actually put on a meal in the slow cooker, so the meal is ready when I get home at the end of the day. If it's booking a weekend away in 3 months' time, if it's booking a family holiday away in 6 months or 12 months' time. Like, I'm off to Europe next week. I planned this holiday some time ago, but I haven't really been too obsessive about it. So it's kind of come up and it's a nice surprise, right? So you must schedule time to have a mental reset. Now, you could do a retreat, or it could just be making sure you do meditation every day. It's making sure that you eat properly. It's making sure that you go and have a magnesium float, or whatever it is that helps you calm. Once you find that, it's scheduling in that time repetitively and committing as much as you commit to your business to your own health. And if you maintain that commitment and knowing that you are as important, if not more important than your business, then you will always make sure that you make that time and that you keep well.
I think that for me, Sonya, I think that the biggest blockage that I have, right, when I started the business is I was resistant to employ people. Do you have this mindset of the
no one can do it as good as us, Harry?
I want to do everything by myself. I was like, thinking, I was doing rental properties. I'm thinking, how come I'm gonna give the keys of the property to somebody else? Is something they steal something from my tenants? My tenants are priceless. I deal with them, and then the maintenance people and so on. So I was very resistant to employ people. But the point was, Sonia, that the more the business grow, the more exhausted I was. I was tired. I couldn't
Yep.
handle it because when it gets certain amount, I cannot do all tasks. And I think because I was exhausted, I
Yeah.
gave up
Because even though you
my
had
ego.
people,
I gave up my ego. I gave up my I don't know, my not trusting people thing that I have in my head that I don't know where it coming from, because I trust everybody. But when you started this business like your baby, when you have your baby, you try to protect your baby, and you are in this cycle in your own brain, and I didn't know my parents are not entrepreneurs, nobody in my family is entrepreneur, so I don't have any reference of anybody to me anything. And but then something amazing happened, Sonia. Then when I start to hire the people, turns out that they were all better than me at everything. To the point that one day they told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you in the office. I'm like, what? You don't need paper in the printer? They say, no, go home. We can get our own paper in the printer. Stay at home, travel, come with a new idea. We implement it, we're running for you, right? So, and that's, Sonia, this when I discovered the other side of the equation, when you are talking about, when you have that happiness, that joy, that wow, I work really hard, but I made something that now I'm literally relieved, and of course, I'm enjoying the benefit, the wealth and everything, but I can work in other projects, I can work in other things. So the feeling is amazing. Yeah. But well, as
yeah,
entrepreneurs, as you are, the other side of the story is, I should take all the money and go on holiday and travel the world. But what I did, I opened a restaurant in Brick Lane in London. I lost 200,000 pounds in 2 years of my life. It was a big disaster. Yeah. But this is one, which again, a lot of people talk, Sonia, about how to deal with failure, but nobody really talks about how to deal with success. And I was feeling
yeah.
uncomfortable. Oh my God, this money is coming and I'm not doing anything. This is crazy. I had to do something. I'm in my house and I'm nervous, rather than being stable and enjoy it and said that, okay, you did amazing and have some rest, travel the world, do something, be more relaxed. The success actually gave me more anxiety at some point because you start to, your head start to think. So what is your view on this, Sonia, that, a lot of people talk about how to deal with failure, but very little people talk how to deal with success and embrace the success and enjoy it and be happy about it. And so what's your view on this? Who teach you how to deal with success?
I'm a bit like you. I did have some references, like my mother and father. Well, my mother was always in business, but she knew how to make money, but she gave a lot away. So she didn't really invest it into anything else. So she was always working hard and making it, but it was never staying around. Money never stayed around her. It wasn't invested in any way to kind of keep giving her income streams, right? So I didn't really know how to maintain a level of success until we started having a business that kind of grew on its own fruition. Like even without us really pushing, this beast just started growing. And then, much like you just said, I was really scared of losing that thing because I identified as the business. It became me. It was everything. It encompassed my whole entire life. I would eat and sleep and think all the time about my business. So the fear of losing that was really driving me. I was really driven by fear and not really driven by any kind of joy or happiness about having a fulfilled life, right? And that's really what it's about. We have limited time on this earth.
Absolutely.
I have 3 kids. I want to be with my kids.
100%.
And I really had to reframe in my mind what my success looked like and what it meant to me. And I really had to distinguish what it was outside of this business. If this business was gone tomorrow, who was I? What was the life that I wanted to live? And what that, really made me think about was, how have I mapped that out, right? And how can I achieve that? Now, once we got to that point that the business was largely running on its own, I felt myself like idle hands, right? What am I doing with my time? And because I needed to be doing something, like you were saying about, can I fill up the paper and like, what do you need? Because you want to feel useful. You want to feel useful. It's like you give every single dollar in your business a purpose, every single dollar in your investments a purpose. Everything is planned and it's going somewhere. But if you're sitting around and you don't have anything to do, you can, get really scared and lost in the feeling of not being needed for something. So for me, I really wanted to keep active in that area, and I just went off and started learning more about all of the other types of investments and things I was interested in property development and other kinds of investments, so I could keep building my brain in a different way. So using my skill set, but for me and for my family. And that really gave me that feeling of fulfillment. And for me, success was really about fulfillment. And that's what I needed to do. I needed to feel like I was contributing in some amazing way and just direct that into another area. And that will always continue. So I needed to get that level of success in my own self as well as in my business, if that makes sense. And I really learned that largely from just listening to podcasts like this and reading books and talking to other business owners in business groups and connecting with people and saying, well, what is it that you do and what works for you? And what is it that you do and what works for you? And really adapting something for my own self that worked for me.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.